this.
All right. Put all this work into the end.
Bring me everyone. What do you mean everyone?
Everyone!
Welcome to Everyone Racers.
A show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ
Or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions,
Tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot,
hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough,
and Chrissy,
and Chrissy,
I give you just the tip.
we're sure you'll giggle a little.
and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Tim.
Mental. Well, yeah, sorry.
Oh.
He's Tim. And I'm screwing this all up already.
You know, it's our first show. It's okay.
Great start to the show, everyone.
Wow.
I'm just
Not
so
like
excited
that
to
down.
be here.
Yeah.
We're just excited
He's just so
to get the
excited.
show started.
Guess what episode it is? 360.
You mean our first, maybe second.
And we are Everyone Racers. Welcome to episode 360. Naturally, you would expect us to talk about a rear-engine two-door car from a world-renowned automaker with a storied racing history. Well, you'd be right. The Subaru 360. It was a two-door city car built from 1958 all the way to 1971, the year Mental was created. That car is hella cute, by the way.
It's hella cute. I love
It is so cute. I saw this and I was like, Mini Cooper out, Subaru in. It's awesome. But it was named for its engine displacement of 356 cc's. It was Subaru's first mass-produced car. In Japan, it was named the Ladybug, which was available as a coupe, station wagon, or convertible. Over 10,000 were sold in the United States, being imported by Malcolm Bricklin. He advertised them as cheap and ugly.
No. It is so cute.
I'm going to go against Malcolm on that one. It is. Especially that little sport one right there. That's pretty dope. Bad
That
pod
is
for
like-
listeners,
too.
but we've got a link to
Conglomerate of
the,
a bunch of things.
yeah.
For people that aren't watching on the YouTubes, if a Porsche 356 had a baby, like this is what the baby would look like before it grew up.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
All right. What you working on? Tim. what are
Well,
you working
I am prepping for the butt. We've got Buttonwillow this weekend. It's supposed to be pretty cool for Buttonwillow. It's only going to be a high of 95,
Wow.
which is nice because it's
You might
actually
need a
100.
sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's
You
104
might-
here today, so I was happy to see it drop down just a little bit. But we're doing a theme that is got a lot of wood involved in it. So I've been carving things and drilling things and shellacking things and all of the things. So getting that done.
So much shellac.
So much sawdust
I'm
everywhere.
a little frightened, and we'll talk about why I'm frightened later, because I have seen the caliber of Tim's work. Like, you turn that whole closet into a, the wine cellar and everything. So, man.
They're going to say you see the caliber of Tim's wood, and that's you're intimidated.
I was trying to figure out where this was
everyone
going.
knows the caliber of Tim's wood. It is far and wide on both coasts. Everybody knows Tim's wood.
Well,
I think you might be matching his shirt, which is red. I feel like there's a little, a little tinge.
I mean, I've got all kinds of fun stuff. I've made like greeting cards for the staff that are inappropriate, and like many things. I've really leaned into this one. I've had so much fun with it, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome.
One of the things I did
What to
that
hear.
Mental turned me on to was there was a website that does AI produced music. Well, I've just created my first album. So
We're gonna link that in the show notes, that app, because the Focus Club, more as we get into the Hangover, the Focus Club got screwed by nature again and put it all into another great country song on that app. And I'm dying on it. And this is a great way to kill some internet time. Kind of like your favorite podcast.
It's nice. It does have a limiter on it, so you get 50 credits that you can use per day, and you burn 10 credits every time you do a song. So you can only do 5 songs a day. So it paces you, so you just can't sit there for 12 hours and just make music, which thank goodness. I mean, you could, but you have to pay for it, and I'm not doing that. It's cheap.
I'll be honest, I was jamming to the AI Party Rockin' song. It was fantastic.
Came out pretty good.
Yeah.
It came out pretty good.
I think Chris and Chrissy, I posted the Focus Club song in the Slack channel for about their weekend at Road America. Yeah,
I don't think I saw.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. Sorry.
You put it on the Facebooks. I'm not sure.
Anyway, so yes, Slack. We're gonna have a link to this app and just say goodbye to your productivity for some time.
Great.
So,
we need more of those things.
In order to play this music, I am going to buy a speaker from Walmart that Jeremy from Monkey House Racing turned me on to. It is a company called ONN, and it is got all of the disco lights and everything built into it. It's $150 at Walmart. So I tried to buy it online, and apparently I got kicked out of Walmart electronically, so they canceled my order. So I used a different credit card. They canceled my order again. So I'm like, well, screw you guys. I'm going down there in person.
This friggin' guy. No way.
Well, this Tim Burr, it can't be a real person. He must have come up with, this is not real.
Fake.
Spends all his time talking about his wood, Tim Burr.
Right?
Yeah, we're not stupid at Walmart,
So I'll see you later tonight, Walmart.
Looking for bots since 1964. I don't know when.
Mental,
awesome.
What are you working on?
So broken record. I am recovering from the kernel in the sinkhole. I'm doing some butt prep because I'm driving to Buttonwillow. And in the midst of all of this preparation, I am still continuing to project shed. One of the shufflings that I was doing is I had to go put the Honda Civic into storage and bring the Omega here so that I could get the Omega ready to take to Buttonwillow, where Phil of Full Metal Jacket, aka the Bonneville Racing fame, he is taking it. And I was going to pull the engine, transmission, and he gets the car and everything. But actually, we just settled on a deal, and he just freed up my evening. So he's taken the whole car, which makes my life a whole lot easier. But in doing all of this, it was one of these for want of a nail situations. So I towed the Honda out to the storage spot, unhooked the Honda, put it where the Omega is. As I went to go pull the Omega out, the tires are flat and dry rotted because this is one of the reasons I'm getting rid of it. I've done nothing with this project. I feel terrible. So I have to remove the tires, air them all up, and this sort of thing. The front wheels are 19 millimeter impact, and I had my gun with me, and I got those, I jacked it up, used jack stands, got those off, aired them up, went to go do the rears. And naturally, the rears are 13/16 thin wall 12-point sockets to remove those tires. And I know this because I had to make 3 trips to AutoZone to get the correct socket after continuously doing that, and still didn't do this and had to go all the way back to my garage to get the one that I needed. But I did find out that locally there is a 24-hour AutoZone here in Las Vegas, in the southern part of Las Vegas, just off Nellis Boulevard. And I was in there at 10:30 at night. I was actually driving back to my garage. I saw the AutoZone lit up and the parking lot was full. And I'm like, ooh, I'll save myself some time. And I pulled in there, and 10:30 on a Monday night, AutoZone is full of exactly what you expect people to look like at 10:30. Just this haggard, it was a 20-minute job, 4 hours ago. This is like 9th trip, just
I mean, you kind of fit in though, right? So like when you show
Yeah.
up, you're pretty much expecting the people
Yes.
that you're looking like them.
These are my people.
well,
Not one clean fingernail on the property, that's for sure.
no.
And you can see the tears in the grease that is on his face. You can
Just
it's
the
like kind of
absolute
wiping
frustration.
away.
One guy is sitting there and he's got his phone and it's on FaceTime and he's just going through the sockets, and they needed a specialty tool, which this AutoZone was out of them. So they're like, I could hear the guy go back over to the where the vice grips were. Not those. Yeah, those. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what you're doing. It's not going to work. Trust me. I have max performed vice grips, and there's only so much. And if you needed a specialty tool and you think you could do it with vice grips, they're probably still working on that car. And it was one of these, I was taken back to my youth where like the car broke and I had to get to work tomorrow. There's no alternative, so you just stay up until the car's fixed, or you're not getting your bills paid. And I had this moment of great empathy with everyone in that Walmart, and also great gratitude, because literally I was looking for a wheel socket for my one toy car that I'm trading so I can clear up space for my other 2 toy cars. And I'm so grateful to be so far away from that, because I could have just said screw it and left everything on there. But I got it all done. I got the Omega in and crawled into bed about 2:30 this morning. Just 4 friggin' trips trying to get one wheel off so that I could, have 4 tires with air in them so the car would actually roll.
Corey would have told you what it
make
was in
things
like
called-
half a hot second.
They
Probably.
make battery powered air compressors. You know that. Just
They
checking.
do. Yeah, could have done that. Totally could have done that. Again, it was a 20-minute job that was one bolt away from becoming a 6-hour
5
job.
hours.
And
Six hour job.
yeah, because the air compressor at the gas station was less than a mile, and it was all fine until it wasn't fine, and I just had to keep laughing to myself because I'm like, oh, you haven't been here in so long. You've not had to have this kind of, if any of my cars don't start, I just take another one to work. Or worst case, I have a bicycle and a scooter or skateboard. I'm getting to work. Hell, I'll Uber these days. But yeah, it was, I just had this like connection to my past self. I remember distinctly sitting in a apartment parking lot and having to wrench on a Volkswagen Scirocco because it had to work. I had like another 8 hours before I had to have that car going someplace. In the parking lot of this AutoZone, 2 guys working on their trucks. Both of these were work trucks. Like clearly, this is how they're putting food on the table. One dude had his stool and his toolbox like laid out. Like this was his workspace. It's shameless about it. And the other guy you could see his feet just being, kicking out from underneath the hood while he was dangling and fiddling with something. And I'm like, man, I hope it works out, brother. I hope you got them both fixed and y'all
They're probably still there.
Yeah, but in my mind, they got it fixed, and it was a great day for them the next day, and they had an extra cup of coffee or something. I don't know.
Probably needed it.
Speaking of things that were, soothing and can be frustrating, Chris, I see the first word in what you're working on there, and it usually encompasses both of those things.
No, working on boats was fine. I didn't really have to work on it. We used said boat and went out in the lake. And I take back what I said about being 100% fixed. It's like 90% fixed. It still runs a little rough at times, but it's notably improved. Not just Citroen better, like it is notably better. So now
there we go.
Like, all right, so that helped. Now how do I get the rest of that last little bit? So anyway, but it was nice to go out on a beautiful day in the boat. Chrissy seems to have, by laying out of hands of the Porsche, seems to have healed it of the check engine light that came on. It came on for oxygen sensors with slow response. I put 2 brand new oxygen sensors with the OEM part number on the side, so like these should be good. And then it promptly came back on for the same codes. I just said grumble, grumble, and kept driving it till I could have time to look at it. Chrissy drives it for a couple of days. Check engine light goes off. So
And
She
it can-
probably
it
talks
can hear
nice
me,
to
but
it, rubs
hasn't
the
come on.
dashboard. You know.
I do.
Yep. Yep.
Hey,
Uh,
Porsche,
I'm at the
looking
Cape House.
good. Are you feeling okay? Yeah. Who's my buddy?
It likes her,
That's what I do.
even though I did all the work to it.
So
Yep. I'm at the Cape House now, so I did some winter prep here that we'd left undone for the time that I was going to be here, which is good. And this past weekend, I agreed to buy an improvement in my current garage wall art that is less art.
And more
that
car.
more car, right? For many years, I have had a Lotus 7 project that, because I knew I couldn't get to it soon after we got it, I put it literally on the wall of my garage because it's a Lotus 7
really
frame.
good
Doesn't
shelf.
take up much room.
It's a good shelf.
It's a great shelf. It is.
Yeah.
So I continue
If
to
you
not
tell
get
me
to it,
you sold
and
it, I am logging off this podcast and never talking to you again.
The
No, it's still
Lotus?
there.
No, it will
Okay.
be for sale very shortly, though, because I have agreed to buy a almost complete condition, low-cost project in Pittsburgh from a gentleman who passed away. Was one of the champion motor cars, kit cars from back in the day. GRM built one. Keith Tanner built one and wrote a book about it.
Oh, wow.
This car is the sister car to Keith Tanner's. Basically, they were working on it at the same time. Helping each other. This guy passes away. His family reaches out to Keith Tanner, says, "What can we do with this car?" He puts up something on GRM. Say, "Oh, this car's in Pittsburgh. They want $5,000 for it." Said, "I'm in Pennsylvania. I will pay $5,000. Can I talk to these people?" And they're like, "Oh, you seem like a person, and you'll make this go away in a reasonable amount of time for a reasonable price." Yes, sold.
With minimal hassles. Minimal hassles.
I like the.
Right, so
you,
this
seem,
car-
you seem like a person.
Well, that's my impression of how
Not
our
everybody is.
interaction went.
So there's that.
Totally. The car was complete enough that it has run 2 track days in Mid-Ohio in the past.
Oh,
It is now
awesome. Magic.
It is now apart enough that someone was clearly sorting and chasing something, because these cars are never done, frankly. But it is a complete work, or had been working car. So compared to what I have, which is a frame and a Miata drivetrain and a Miata box of bits and a nose cone, this is much better.
About
And
what we
for
got.
far less than I would have spent on just the parts, let alone the labor. So, yeah. So there's going to be a Lotus 7 project coming up available with a bunch of Miata parts soon because I've got a better one now.
Okay.
You can't have it. You can't have it. It is so far away from being a car that I feel.
Oh yeah,
as your friend,
it would be script if it went to you, Matt. Like you're
it
not
will
allowed to buy
not, unless
Nope.
you. Is in the nicest way possible. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't do an Omega project, this is a faraway project. This is a shell and a motor and a nose cone. I'm sorry,
This
maybe
is
I should have
building
been
your
nicer.
own car from scratch.
I know. I'm in such the habit of asking. You're right. That's what really hurts.
I know.
It's not like I
sorry.
don't have the
didn't see- this
Formula
is
One,
like-
Formula V.
This
to
is like
build.
intervention on a podcast, and I feel bad about that. But
Your Formula
as your
Vs are
friend,
complete and ready to drive compared to this Lotus.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah,
Steve, dishwashing
it
fairy Steve, you are also not allowed to buy this because you will also do nothing with it. So you can't have
I
it.
feel better now.
literally just a tube frame, and it is a shelf. So if you're not good at projects, this is not for you.
Al Jones, on the other hand, we're looking at you, buddy.
I mean, we could deliver too, but I don't know that that's the right answer.
Yeah, anybody in Pittsburgh and is serious, we're in between here in Pittsburgh.
Right?
We're going that way with a trailer.
We'll be
so-
going out with an empty
Yep.
trailer. Yes. So
All right.
there's
Hey,
that.
Al, you've got all of our numbers.
Oh gosh. Okay. Or anybody else for that matter. But yes.
Also,
Thank you. Yes.
I imagine the same rule applies also to Fisher.
Probably yes.
No, Bill and Vicky know better. They are smart. Bill likes to buy cars, but he likes to buy cars that are cars, not various assorted piles of parts that, with an incredible amount of effort, could someday be a car. He already has that. It's called a Capri. So
That's fair. Oh yeah, I do. Or so yes, folks. If you are interested in that shell, I've been hounding them for the better part of a decade. about it because it's
it's been there for
it's
a
a
decade,
well
so
it's a well-made shell, or rather not even shell, frame.
It's a tube frame.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Square.
It's a
So that's
shelf.
what Lotus
Square.
7s
I'm
are.
sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
All right,
But
so
it's not even a shell.
I look forward to you guys getting this Lotus 7 project. That's fantastic.
We will.
That's
Do you have a timeline for it
yeah.
in your mind, Chris?
Well, we're
Next week.
picking it up in
2 weeks.
week and a half, October 5th or 6th.
5th
and
or
then-
6th. I think we'll do 5th or 6th.
I mean, I don't have anything on the front burner at the moment. It's,
Yes,
some
we do.
point the MG
We
comes
do,
back on the
actually.
front burner.
Yes. Yes.
We do.
There's
Sorry.
always front burners.
Yeah, but apparently
Something will end up on the front burner.
a lot of it just requires you to drive it and talk nice to it, and then it solves that problem.
I think this
You
car needs a little bit more than just
Yeah.
nice talk.
Need you to come out here and drive my F-250 around.
I don't know that my hands.
don't think
I don't
she'd
know
get
if my
along with
healing
that.
hands. I don't think so either. My healing hands aren't that strong. Anyway, I haven't been doing anything. I was relaxing on the boat and then relaxed later. Okay, news and news time. That might be loud. I'm sorry if it is, or it's quiet because I'm sitting next to a microphone this
fine.
time. Okay, according to a video post on Instagram, a middle-aged guy in China made a perfectly intricate and amazingly accurate indoor parking garage for his animals. Beverly Braga at The Drive gives us details about this awesome project. They're cute little spaces for a cat car and a guinea pig's 4x4. It's hard to see.
I know. I'm trying to make it like
they can take the
stop
elevator to
making
the
noise.
cute little house one floor above. You
于是我又打算给他们做个
Be
地下车
quiet
库，
and-
再整几辆车。
Yeah, I don't
Sorry.
think you can. It is. Actually, there's pictures down below. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Pictures below. Keep going. You have to see this. So Menzel's trying hard to play this video, but there is. It only took him 2 solid months, which you would think this would be like a great COVID project, because why do that now when you could be outside and doing things? It has little parking spots, a sprinkler system, blind spot mirrors, speed bumps, and don't forget the stop signs and fire extinguishers, which do not work, thankfully, because that would be a hot mess with animals and fire extinguishers. I have no
Especially a
idea why
cat.
this is a good
A
idea,
cat-
but I
a
love
cat
my
would be
cats,
like,
but I do not
"I'm
think
gonna
I
do
do not.
nothing." Yeah.
They look like they're having a good time, though.
They are totally.
I'm not sure why it's a good idea to make them a life-size parking garage, but to each their own. You have to check this out. It's so cute.
It is not just like a parking garage. Like they have their own elevator, and it's a cat, a dog, and a hamster.
Yeah.
That's so friggin' cool.
Yep. The guinea pig has its own little 4x4.
Like, it's got
and the
for those
cat
of,
knows how to
for those
push
of
the
you
button
not
to get in the elevator.
yeah, and it's got like little fire extinguishers and like strapping for the HVAC. It's amazing.
EV chargers.
I think the HVAC works.
If it doesn't, he missed a real opportunity there. I like how the already the hamster's got road rage because he's in a Defender 90.
Wow. That's terrible.
Oh, now I love Chrissy found this story, and I love this because they do the same thing here. But you would think that not running over someone wearing an inflatable chicken suit while trying to cross the street, right? You would think that you would not do that. But if you're in California, you better be watching out for them. So San Fran police are trying to prove a point by wearing large, bright Halloween costumes while crossing the street and pulling anyone over who doesn't come to a complete stop for them, which is state law. Lawrence Hodge over at Jalopnik explains that the cops wore costumes like the one in this video, the blow-up chicken, Big Bird, and a unicorn, which resulted in 30 to 40 citations each. The ostentation costume, according to California Police Captain Amy Hurwitz, serves 2 purposes. One, obviously, I don't want them to get run over. But if the costume is so bright, it's like, how can you miss it? And also just, follow the rules because you never know if it's a cop in a costume. They do the same thing here in Las Vegas. They'll dress up as leprechauns around St. Patrick's Day or Santa Claus and elves. And it's and because if you see someone in a crosswalk, you're supposed to stop. And my thing about this is I want people to use crosswalks so that they'll stop jaywalking in the middle of the street, but they won't use crosswalks if there's no benefit to them, i.e. people stop. So I do love this.
I didn't realize it was a thing.
Be a nice person. Stop for people in crosswalks. How about
Seriously, come on.
Even if you're in a chicken
Okay.
costume.
Especially if they're in a chicken costume.
Yeah,
Like,
because
what
they're probably
is
a
this
cop.
fool doing? I want to. Well, then you can answer the question.
Boom. That
Why
just
did
happened.
the chicken
Bam.
cross the road?
And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We're out.
You'll be here all night. But the more you know.
Yep.
Wait. Oh, wait. No,
It doesn't fit. Now you know. Do-do-do-do.
Oh.
All right. Hey, pour out some 40 weight for Michael Valentine. You know, he was a pioneer and more or less invented the citation avoidance industry with the work he did at Cincinnati Microwave and the Escort and Pioneer line of radar detectors. He then founded Valentine Research in 1983 with his wife Margaret after inventing a way to filter other signals and focus on police-only radars.
Oh.
Oh,
Dang it.
bye.
Oh.
I gotta
phooey.
go.
Yeah.
The
In the
police
middle
cut him
of-
off again. Again.
Gotta
False.
go
False signals. These things happen.
in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
They're
Well, I
listening.
got a false signal and I slowed way down. That was the problem. I didn't have it on my Valentine one on logic mode. Anyway, the linked story by Cameron Knight from the Cincinnati Enquirer, there's a lot more to the story of Michael Valentine because both he and his wife are proud graduates of the University of Cincinnati and donated $5 million for their arena product in 2016. Also donated $10 million to the ballet in 2019. And he was an early enthusiast of amateur radio. The Valentines would become the biggest supporters of the Amateur Radio Relay League, which is the largest advocacy organization for amateur radio in the U.S. And finally, he created the Michael D. Valentine Engineering Library Fund for the University of Cincinnati to provide the best research and education to students for generation to come. So his product had definitely saved me a number of citations. And seems like I got a good guy all around.
I had no idea.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Bless you, sir.
And racing junk.
Yeah. Do you want to read this story?
I'll read the story.
Okay.
RacingJunk.com.
Oh, I do have to do that? I didn't realize that was part of it. Okay.
Well, on Racing Junk, surely we're going to showcase a Ferrari 360 Modena, or as they say in Italy, Ferrari 360 Modena. Well, false. How about a 360 sprint car? Yep. This open motor sprint car's engine is a big bore short stroke with a 7-race-old Kinsler ejection and fuel pump, making 750 horsepower. There's an optional GF1 chassis available, complete and ready to race, minus the seat. Enough spares to build another roller, extra wheels, tires, etc., etc. This car comes with Slade shocks, and you thought that was good. Well, there's more. Tools. Yep, all the tools related to the sprint car racing comes with the purchase. This guy is all out. So if you have a nice open trailer set up if you want a nice open trailer set up with the box and tire rack, he's got a trailer too. That comes with the wall toolboxes, hand tools, generator, air compressors, air tanks, etc. The trailer's $5,000. The extra chassis $1,200. $30 for the car, $36,200 all in. You're ready to get dirty. But all you get is one picture from Brett78 from Rohnert Park, California, because he was cheap to spring for the pro membership. Come on, man.
Dude.
Gosh.
But that's what you want is a giant V8 with literally just a wing and a gas tank.
So safe.
That's what you get.
No fail.
it's not even the fastest one. So I looked this up a little bit, and they make a 410 also, which is obviously a larger motor, and that makes 850 horsepower. So if you really want to try to kill yourself,
yeah, right. If you really want to die,
off you
let's
go.
go there.
Yeah.
There's so many great ways to die on Racing Junk.
That needs to be a shirt.
Yes.
Their marketing team missed an easy pitch right there.
Absolutely. All right, we'll get them on the next one.
Oh, so good.
Oh, well.
All
Chrissy?
right. Well, know.
Oh, it's upcoming races! Oh my gosh, it's upcoming races! I forget that you're waiting for me. I'm like, I'm not reading the next copy.
Your part is the only part anyone listens to anyway.
Unless it's too loud, poor Erling loses his ears.
Yeah.
Well, Lemons is at the butt in sweaty Bakersfield, California. There are 92
sweaty
cars.
dusty.
Oh, it's so dusty and dirty. 92 cars, 16 BMWs, 17 Miatas, 6 Hondas, goose egg on the Porsches, and
Well,
from
Dean moved.
Eric LaRue. Yeah, fair.
You're right.
I think his car is currently being repaired. Anyway,
That's
from
natural
Eric
habitat for a Porsche.
Yeah, Dean needs to listen to just the tip at the end of this, based on some of the conversations I had with him and his torque wrench failures. And from Eric, he said, this is a really solid field. The Falcon versus the Fairmont versus the Ranchero versus the Escort Wagon rematch, the homemade MGC, the Bonneville, the PV544, the 41 Chevy, the Paseo, and the alleged return of an old familiar face. If the Chotis somehow wins overall in this race, not going to happen, they become the third car ever to take the Lemons Quadrangle of Immaculance, the ABCNIOE. Good luck, boys. You're always fast, and you're always greasy.
Yeah, once they got that car to actually last a race, and it only took them a decade or so to do it, they've always been fast drivers. Yeah, so there's potential there, man.
Yeah, they set really fast laps all the time, and then the tow truck goes by.
Yep, and then you wander by and the engine's exploded, in the paddock, and then somehow still takes the green flag.
Yeah, we're all pulling for you, Chotis. We're all pulling for you. We're not gonna put a long
More
shot bet on it.
Realist, yeah.
Yeah. We want you to win. We're just not betting on it.
Hey,
Right,
even the guy who bought an Olds Omega and said, "Yeah, I'm totally gonna do stuff with this." Even he says, "Yeah, I don't think you guys are gonna win." So, yep. Hey, it's also time for the final Lemons Rally of the year. The fall foliage starts this Friday. Participants will cosplay as leaf peepers, winding their way from Boston to Brantford, Connecticut, Montpelier to Vermont, and back to Boston. We'll have a list of all the Insta handles for you to follow in the show notes, so just follow #LemonsRally. There are 40 cars. Some highlights include a 1990 Alfa Romeo Spider, 59 Edsel Ranger, XC90 kids in a Prius. There's the 78 Honda Civic, a 1990 International School Bus, a 94 AutoZam, 63 Chrysler Imperial, 62 Falcon, 79 Pacer, and of course a B-body GM wagon and a diesel Mercedes. So I had an offer from Stobbs to come up and judge on Friday to help out with this, but I can't make it up on Friday, unfortunately, from here Friday morning. So, oh well.
Darn.
Well,
Have
if your
fun, folks.
Car breaks down, you can just hitch a ride with this school bus.
Assuming it's not full of other stuff that they might need because
And
their
also
parts are big.
broken.
There's always
Yes,
room
right.
for a couple people.
Sure. It's results time!
As mentioned, Lemons was at National Corvette Museum for the Colonel and the Sinkhole race. Now, your winner on laps was non sequitur in a boring BMW 318i. The car's fast. They drive clean, but, boring. They came by. Winner was Class B, the Flying Blurritos in their 84 Camaro. So once they got their feral children under control, they actually finally, and it's another quick, well-driven, once they, kind of like figured out how to fit in. That car is great. And Class C was Blue Thunder in an '05 Honda Civic. Now, organizer's choice was Loose Nuts Racing in a 2000 Chevy Camaro, and you have heard that name a dozen times before because they are always winning Halloween Meets Gasoline, and they showed up with a great theme this time as well. However, when we lost Zach a couple of months ago unexpectedly, Rusty took it upon himself to kind of get the mantle of meeting Zach's $23,000 Lemons of Love donation goal. So they've been sending out care packages for other teams to sell at other races. They've been doing so much. They came there with raffles and things to give away, including the original bumper to the Vandenball, which was at the race. And they went through and they did all this. And by Saturday morning, they had $21,000. And as of this week, they have met Zach's goal of $23,000 for Lemons of Love. And they want to keep going. So find them on the Facebook, see what they're doing. But that has a lot to do with how they got the organizer's choice, because they always show up with a strong HMG game. And this was about them being bigger than that. And they've just done some great stuff. And they're such a wonderful addition to the Lemons community. I'm happy they're on the East Coast, but I miss them because they were out here on the West Coast when they first started. And now they're out of Tennessee. Heroic Fix was Burning Mag in an 07 Saab 9.3. And I don't know what they did, but it had to be pretty impressive. Judge's choice was I Shit You Not, which is abbreviated as I Suck Racing, in an 06 Chevrolet Cobalt. Screwed was the Dunning Cruisers in a 97 Ford Thunderbird. Hella Sweet in Search of Excellence in a 59 Edsel Ranger. You can also see that one on the Facebooks. They dropped that car, was bought by a family member and has been in their family the entire time. They had to pull it out of a barn that collapsed on it. They dropped it onto a Crown Vic P71 chassis. It was wonderful to watch that thing go around there. The only Corvette that didn't suck, that was the name of the original award and also a reflection of reality, was the McRaverick James, bitch, and a number 53 in a 70 Ford Maverick, which is really on top of a Corvette. And Halloween Meets Gasoline. God, what was that team? Oh, that's right. It was us. Boom. Skinny Coyote Racing. And we were there in 4 different cars, but the one that got it was the 515-99 Ford effin' Ranger. We had an outstanding IMSA theme. One of our drivers, Vince, his daughter and his wife, Lily, and they were wearing the jackets. We walked around all weekend. We had tape measures. We had stopwatches. We had thermal guns. We had a fake template that we would just walk around and measure to make sure everybody was in there. And we had IMSA clipboards and everything of that knowledge or of that style. And that's how we got our, and if I can do this properly, that's how we got our HMG award. And this is always one of those challenges when I'm the guy who also controls everything, and I'm trying to very quickly get to the.
A question for you while you're looking up these things, Mental. You as IMSA scouts, did you find any new drivers among the Lemons field who you would have race in IMSA while you were all looking all weekend?
Why, no, not a single one, and that includes us. But yeah, we made it a point to there we are. There's our IMSA scout team right there. If you're watching this on there, so you can see we all had the clipboards and the coats and IMSA badges. Blake actually right after Road America, and so we went to the drivers meeting when he said there's no IMSA scouts. We objected and pointed everything out to that one, and you can see also in the middle there the sign from the Loose Nuts Racing about themes are hard. So. But that was our jam, and we We struggled all weekend. More on that as we get into the main topic time. And finally, wrapping the entire thing up, your IOE was Fat Bastard Racing in a 1982 Chrysler Fifth Avenue. This thing was so great. Unmodified, big silver Chrysler Fifth Avenue. They left the Lando roof. They ran out of tires on Saturday, and they weren't going that fast, but they just overheated the tires, and another team loaned them tires so they could go back out on track. And it was so great just to watch that thing ride around the track. Lando roof. Yeah, it was fantastic. Great entry.
Need more Lando roofs and lemons.
Yeah.
Yes. If your Lemon's car came with a Lando roof, you leave it on there, man. That's the way to the judge's heart.
That is?
The vinyl that they put on the outside, but they would only do it like in the last half of the car.
Oh, okay.
And it looks poofy, like spongy almost.
Because it kind of is, really.
Well, Champ Car was at Harris Hill, Silver Alert, and Miata wins one lap over Basil Weenie's Racing, also in a Miata.
Because of
they won
all the
B-class.
Miatas. They had all the Miatas in Texas.
So many Miatas. Love Racing came in third with, guess what? A Miata. Sunday, Minimum Talent in a Mini Cooper. Yay! One lap up over Silver Alert, and Love Racing in third again in their Miata.
Lucky Dog is at CMP. Saturday, GMG Racing wins just 60 seconds from Soggy Bottom Boys and Low Country Motorsports in third. WOFTM won B class and fifth overall. Sunday, DMV Racing wins over Mash Per Taters, one lap back, who won B class. Soggy Bottom Boys in third.
Some good team names. I'm impressed. I like it.
Did they sing the song, the Soggy Bottom Boys? In constant sorrow.
I'm sure they didn't.
I'm sure they didn't. I didn't know there was a song. That was good. All right, so let's start feedback time.
On the tubes from our last show, Tyler Stank said, I'm glad you mentioned sim racing. It's my favorite way to learn a new track. There is, in fact, an NCM model available on our Assetto Corsa, although he's not used it yet and can't vouch for its quality. But most of the Lemons tracks you'll find on AC are made by third parties and not the game developers themselves. So you can't always be sure. They'll say have the flag stations in the right locations, etc. But the track surface is usually plenty good to learn the flow of the track.
Valid. Now, Michael K. asked, quote, reinspection. Are we sure this will be universal for every time it is towed off track unless we are taking mechanical black flags, as it seems challenging to keep up with? We did not see this at Road America, so it would have to be super new. And I need to apologize to everyone for any panic I may have caused when I said this, and I'm going to clarify. It's a new policy where if something big happened, your exhaust fell off, bumper, you got dinged, and a fender bender on a track, it now requires a safety tech inspector to get back out on track, not a judge's approval. So the circumstances have not changed regarding the reinspection prior to returning, but who can approve this? And I mentioned it because you're going to need to budget your time accordingly. If it's Dale or Chris, John, or any of those folks, and they're working the hot pits, the staff has to get them relieved so they can come over to your paddock or to the judge's area and reinspect that one. So it's a smarter plan. It really is to have the tech people because, we're judges and there's a lot of times we'll go, hey, yeah, sure. It looks fine. And then 5 minutes later, they come back in with the exhaust falling off again. And they've really developed their technical staff to be a lot better about seeing potential problems before they happen.
And we were doing it at Road America. You just didn't have a problem that needed it to be checked, Michael, which I know you are surprised about just as much as anyone, but Yep. All right. On the Insta, Tim shared some great stuff from local cars and coffee in Danville. And CD Wyoming said that M1 though. Oh, that's cool. That's right. You've got Tech Bro money, so you get cool cars at the Cars and Coffee there.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Mechanical engineer said, I used to be the service manager at the Big O Tires in Danville. That's the stuffiest and statistically safest town in North California. It's nice, but I'm way too trashy to spend much time in.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
On the video of the Skinny Coyote Miata losing its hub going into the sinkhole, Team Blake, who couldn't make this race, said, "Welcome to the team, Dustin." Pyrrhic Victory Racing mentioned, "We are just talking about the need for a beefier NA hubs this week." Jack Baruth pointed out, "I've seen that go a lot worse." And finally, Chrysler Land Yacht said, "Now y'all know why we call that that car Two-Face."
I'm sorry, and I had every intention of having this video queued up, but here it is for those who did not see it on the Instagram. Look on the right side of that screen, and first you'll see the wheel, and then you'll see the car.
Yeah, that's not terrifying at all.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's like, get out of here. The car that's driving. Got to get out. Get out, get out, get out, get out.
Damn, Skippy.
So, yeah, it sheared off, and that was I've raced with Dustin for years, but that was Dustin's first race with us, and he was out there doing a great job, and so he was fine. The car's actually, we got it onto the trailer-ish, and Jerry's already ordered new hubs. So, but
I mean, that's like a Miata thing. They break hubs. Like
they do.
I think 2 or 3 different cars came into judging at Road America from broken hubs with Miatas. Like they just.
It's a wear item on those cars. Yeah.
Yep. Well, on the Facebooks, showing the carnage Skinny worked through this weekend at NCM, Al Jones posted a GIF of pouring some of your 40 out for all the easy ups when the wind shows up. Pour one out.
Yep. Sudden gust of a windstorm. It was so hot, and then like the breeze would come along, destroy your easy up, and then it would just be hot and muggy again.
And then you'd have no shade.
Pretty much. And you're sad.
You know who never leaves your easy up in a windstorm?
Because usually it's our easy up, and then she would probably know that she would need to replace it if she were to leave the said easy up.
You know who's never two-faced?
Good.
Who never loses her her hub or fights throttle issues on a V8 swapped Ford Ranger?
That's correct.
All the above.
All the above.
All of the above. Yes.
All right. Hi, Mom. It's make time!
All right, we got the NCM Hangover. So we had our best friend Mental there. Mental, why don't you tell us a little bit about your travel day? How'd that
Gather
go?
around,
Smooth
children.
sailing?
Mental about to spin a yarn for us.
So uneventful. At 3 o'clock in the morning, my alarm went off, and 45 minutes later, I'm winging my way to the airport, and I flew directly into Nashville, which means it's a real quick chance to play. Guess the rental.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I signed up for a truck because there is a trend right now where trucks are cheap. I did not get the truck. The line was out the window, and they were just offering people stuff. I wanted a Tacoma, no Tacoma.
Which rental agency did you get this through?
Budget.
Oh, no. Did you die? Did you use up a life? I know that's not my question.
Usually you want to kill yourself waiting in their line. That's for sure.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're going to
I
die.
still don't understand why anyone uses anything but National. But okay.
It's one of those. It's always when you walk into the thing and like all of the counters are there, and you see that one line, and you're always like, "Man, I hope that's not." Shit, that's my line.
Every time too. It's
Every
awful.
time. Yeah.
Oh, and it's
The
usually
guy at
just
the
budget.
counter was very, very nice, but man,
Well, they
yeah.
have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Were you going by yourself?
Yes.
Where did you come into? You're going
Nashville. Nashville's about a 90-minute drive to Bowling Green.
90 minutes.
Okay. Did it have a hatchback or a trunk? Because you said it's not a bed. So hatchback or trunk.
It had a hatch.
What is the country of origin?
United States. Well, North America. I think it was U.S., but it might be Canadian. The company's based in Detroit.
Did you find it acceptable?
I was going to ask this.
I found it acceptable. I just didn't like it.
Chevy Equinox.
Close enough. It was a GMC Arcadia. The GMC version of the Equinox. It just, it's
The
it was
Acadia's a
comfortable.
bigger one. That's the Traverse.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it's the GMC
Still.
version of that thing you said. Because
No, the
it's 3
Terrain
rows.
or some.
Yeah,
I don't
that
know.
one.
One of them.
Yeah, 3 rows.
3 rows.
Yeah,
Shoot.
but
That's the Acadia.
it's-
Then that's the big one. Yeah.
Yeah, 2023. It's got Apple CarPlay. It's got cruise control where it has the little car in front of you, but it doesn't do anything. It just tells you there's a car in front of you, and then a flashing red light, and the seat will buzz before you plow into them because it has absolutely no intervention methods. And I know that I've argued against robot cars, but when I'm on a freeway, I want some robot stuff going on there, and zero robot. And the tooling on this thing has to be paid for, so it's just a cash cow that they're throwing leather interior in and driving this thing around. Good power, comfortable, quiet, capable, but just no modern features. Lame.
It's pretty exciting for you to realize that it doesn't have anything to stop you when you're just driving, and then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, hey, there's a car in front of you. Oh, it's getting closer. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, on the upside, your butt will vibrate when you die. Yeah, it was. Going through the menus.
I told you it was there. Why didn't you
Yeah.
stop?
Duh.
I was going through the menus and I realized it had no driving assist at all, no lane keeping or any of the stuff. And I rented a Toyota Corolla 3 years ago. Friggin' Corolla has lane keep assist and it's actually pretty good. It had the radar guided cruise control. So yeah, just lazy GM squeezing every last bit of dollar out of that tooling. We're not going to give it in. The GMC Super Cruise is actually one of the best auto driving assists out there, and they couldn't even just put that over into this car. Lame.
You have to pay more for it. That's all. Not going on the fleet one, so the rental car company.
Yeah, compelling.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
flew
So
in,
you got
drove
there.
up. Yeah. Standard traffic going through Nashville. I don't know what it is. Everything likes to clog up in Nashville, and then made my way to the track, got there in plenty of time for BS and Tech on Friday. And we had, as mentioned, we had our overcoats, our IMSAs, and we went over there long before our BS and just started randomly telling cars that they suck and they fail and they weren't good enough. And, we leaned into that pretty hard. And Friday is always margarita night when we race at NCM. And I've got to, find the picture. There's a great Mexican restaurant we like to go to just a mile from the track. And they serve.
I mean, Friday can be margarita night at any track, really. Just
Friday
Or
can be
anywhere.
margarita night at
Right.
any track. Yes. But we have our traditions. And if I can see, all right, if I get all 4 to go to this and it will work. A current application. There it is. So they sit, those are $30. And we had, we get the frozen
like a
or
tower of
over the
margaritas.
rocks. It
Just-
is literally a tower
just
with
like
a
a-
dispenser.
Yeah.
You
audio
just gotta
show. Primarily.
Put your cup underneath it and then bring it to your
Primarily.
table set up like that. Yeah, you wouldn't expect.
Wow.
And as Dustin and Josh, the guy there in the green shirt, noticed, it's always fun to hear a Mexican accent with overlaid a Southern accent. So, someone who is clearly, from Latin America or Mexico saying y'all and fixin' to and, that sort of thing.
So for the listeners that are just on the podcast, if you have ever been in a finished basement and you've seen the big metal lolly columns that hold the ceiling up, they basically filled one of those with margarita and put a spigot on it.
Yes. And
Yep.
yeah. Well-made margaritas, and I partake of none of them because I have an addiction to racing and I'm trying to behave myself. Hated it, every minute of it. So we were there with the 3 Miatas, which are obviously Class A, and then the IMSA Ranger truck that we had, which was previously the Ford the Sajiv Ranger. So there it is. After chasing grounds one weekend in very typical Skinny Coyote fashion, they got tired of the electrical nightmares and ripped the entire drivetrain out of it and just dropped a 302 in it, which brought with it a whole host of new problems that we fought all day Saturday.
Yeah, that solved it. Good.
By Sunday, we actually had the thing kind of, it was capable of doing an entire stint. And it's one of those vehicles, and you've all driven them when you get onto the track and you know that this is absolutely the dumbest thing to have on the track, and you still giggle the entire time you're driving it. That's the Ranger. It's just fun. It makes noise. Nice big airy cabin, which after overheating yourself on a Miata, it's a nice refreshing change of pace.
Am I giggling because I think I'm going to die, or do I giggle because the cars around me are zooming by so fast that I still might die?
There's not a lot of sensation of death on there. You're just giggling because, you come through the corner and yes, cars are going past you, but you're like, man, a Ranger shouldn't be able to turn like this, but it does. You had
I'm
to
just trying to
cooperate.
picture which car, like a Citroen, or is this like Rolls Royce or
Boat.
I don't know.
Very it
Okay,
just
I'll take a boat.
brings to mind the boat. Everyone sees it. You're not winning a lot of speed contests, but you're not losing a lot when you get on the straightaway either.
Okay.
Yeah. Reach over way all the way up into fifth.
Okay, fine comparison. I buy it.
Yeah. Saturday morning, driver's meeting goes out. And that's when all of the problems began. We had all three Miatas just started having just random issues. My personal favorite, and I say favorite, is the 514 Miata. Normally does very, very well. Had uncommanded weight reduction when the top decided I didn't want to be a part of the car anymore. And that is the Frankenstein bolt on the back of an NA Miata shredding itself. The entire top came off in one piece, landed on the track. They didn't have arm restraints, so they were black flagged, and brought it in. And the top was in one piece. It had a few more speed scratches in it now, but they got it all bolted back on and got it back out. We had some issues with the 512, which is one that eventually lost its hub. One of the drivers got kind of muscled into the grass, found themselves in the wall. And the 514 was having issues. One of the headlights just randomly popped up and they had to deal with that. We spent most of the day fighting clutch and throttle issues on the IMSA truck. So just not turning a lot of laps, but the 514 managed to work its way into the top 20. I was not driving that one at all. Saturday night, we cooked steaks. We slept through a rainstorm. But Saturday I took the next to last stint in the car. It was 90 all weekend with all of the humidity. And that is I'm pretty sure I actually did give myself heat exhaustion, because when I got out of the car, I was at I took the last stint. I got out of the car. I was nauseous. I could not get my pulse below 80 beats per minute, but it was still very shallow. And I crawled into like the air conditioned trailer and sat there for about an hour, ate dinner, and went to sleep, just pounding water the whole time. Chris.
Back when I was working, Eric was working on scheduling for judging for the season. He offered me a choice a couple months ago between NCM and Road America. And I said, September in Wisconsin versus September in Kentucky. I bet September in Wisconsin is to be nicer. I'll do that. I was correct.
You absolutely were correct. Yes. Yeah. So we had the windstorm and everything, and but we stayed there at the track. We cooked out. There was a great potluck. I missed all of it because I was just trying to recover.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. One of the issues that the Ranger was having was the brakes, because when they went to the V8, they went to 4-wheel disc rather than rear drums. So we had to remove the check valve from that, which moderates how much, so we could get any pressure into the rear brakes, which actually seemed to solve the problem. But there is a machined hole for a dowel in the fitting that goes onto the master cylinder. We kept squirting out brake fluid. We had to get that solved. One of the bolts for the clutch to mount the cable had just backed itself out of the transmission sometime in transit from Texas. We got that solved. And by Sunday morning, the truck was ready to go. So we could go out there and drive full stints and had a good time with it. Now, this is where it stopped being like the boat and became more like the Rolls Royce, because you got 2 brakes per lap. That's it. Anything more, now you've overheated them, and you better take the entire lap slow, because no one, they're still working with Porterfield about those performance Ranger brake
Tends to be a
pads.
self-solving problem, though. Once someone does it once, damn it. Okay.
Yeah, and you'd smell it, and you'd be like, oh, now I got to save it all the way for entry into the sinkhole. But the upseat is that transmission would absolutely haul that thing down. So I got to where I could do the entire track without having to get on the brakes and just use the transmission on there. You weren't gonna set any speed laps, but Jerry did actually manage to go out there and get it within 10 seconds of the Miatas, which were running 245s, 243s for the fast laps. He got it within a 255, and then really correctly recognized, he's like, and I'm going to keep pushing this until I do something dumb. So I'm just going to pull it on in the pits right now and swap out. And him, and Josh drove the Ranger on Sunday, and it's just a fun little goofy truck. They get the brakes sorted. They get the suspension sorted. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. I had to ditch out on Sunday before the awards. So literally as the cars came off the track, I said my goodbyes, jumped in the car, and had to run down to Nashville Airport to catch my flight. And
Shoot.
yeah, I know. Cause that's when they got the Halloween meets gasoline. But they were in the coats. They were there. They were spraying champagne as the IMSA style as the cars came off the track. So it was a good time was had by all. It's always good running with that crew. They're just a good crew. They value the entertainment of the entire weekend over placing, which, yeah, is a relaxing
It's always
place
fun.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed
there
to be.
Totally. It's supposed to be sometimes. It's not always that way.
No, it is not always that way. And I am guiltier than most of forgetting that.
Awesome. Did you have fun?
Of course. Yes.
Good.
I think I'm still dehydrated, but yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
I'm
Well, good
just
thing that you
downing
didn't do
water,
anything
yeah.
stupid. And I would imagine that it was pretty exciting to have your roof fly off. Did they have any idea that the roof was coming off?
No. And interesting, it was Saturday. I was Googling something. We were looking up something on the Ranger, trying to solve one of the problems. And it's one of his main easy up is one of the double ones. So it's like the length of a car, and the entirety of it just pivots right up onto its end, and then, falls over into Vince's school bus that he's, converted into a trackside RV, and immediately gets twisted up and bent. I'm just trying to keep it from blowing out onto the track. And it was just one of those kind of, channeled perfect wind gusts that grabbed it, and some other easy ups fell victim. Sunday, they ended up they had to call the red flag or black flag all, because they had confirmed thunderstorm was coming in, and then they had all the corner workers get into their cars. So everyone was down for about an hour or so before they resumed racing on Sunday. And the Focus Club, they were actually gaining on that 318 BMW, but that cost them the win. Hence their country and western song, written by robots.
Oh, well.
I'm amazed that Miata top didn't just get plowed when it was laying in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Those aren't cheap either.
No,
No.
and those are like the really lightweight racing ones too. So yeah. So, God loves fools, drunks, and racers.
Apparently.
Speaking of all the above, how about Buttonwillow?
Buttonwillow! Yay!
Butt stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the timing and some information that you may know. But if you don't, if you do and you're going, let's be mindful of when you can get in. 5 p.m. gates open. Don't arrive early. 5 p.m. Okay. Don't go earlier. They
Yeah.
close
There's
at
really
10.
there's no place to stage
We're gonna
prior
end
to
up
getting in the
being on the
gate.
side of the highway.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, Friday, 7 a.m. gates open. Optional Friday test day. There is noon to 5 BS Tech and noon to 5's Gear Tech. Same rules apply as we talked about last time. 5:15 to 6:15 track walk with no motorized vehicles, and 9 p.m. gate registration closes. Any information that you know on test day? Does Lemons run it?
It's the
it?
track. It's the track,
Track
running
runs
it. Yeah.
Is it decent? Is it worth it? Is it one of those expensive pay per driver? Do you have a clue?
Nope. It is per team, and
Okay.
you get and they're also kind of flexible. Like they're letting the Ranger Road guys have their instructors and some other kind of stuff. So it's a worth. And if I'm not mistaken, they basically just run the session in the morning, and then they have lunch, and then they run the session in the afternoon.
Awesome. Cost?
Yeah,
Any
that's pretty
idea?
good.
Expensive?
Yeah,
No, it's okay. That's fine.
I want to say 450, but 500 day of or something
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
So sounds worth it anyway. That's where I was trying to get at, because some of these are not even worth it if it's per
No,
driver,
yeah, like
and
that
per
20
car
minute
kind of thing.
crap, and
Race.
yeah, no.
Yep,
no.
yep. Or you're racing with it's Lemons one time and Lamar the other, something like that. So sounds like Friday is good. Okay, great. Saturday race day, 7 a.m. gate registration opens. 9 o'clock mandatory drivers meeting. 9:30 grid. 10 to 6 is race, and 7 p.m. gate registration closes. On Sunday, 7 a.m. I'm sorry.
Then potluck.
Then
Ranger
potluck. Yes, yeah, that sounds great.
And you want to be at this potluck because there is
I'm
nothing. Nothing there.
Is it at the garages in the front, or where do they usually have it? Do you know?
They generally do it at the pavilion right in front of right in front of the little bar and grill they have, or grill, I should say, no bar. So
It's
right in between track in and track out.
right here. It's the tower, the one big building that they have.
Yeah.
So,
It'll be
Okay, great.
right next to where penalty normally is.
and penalty
Fantastic.
is, if you're watching this, it's right there, right as you come off track out. Conveniently
Okay.
enough.
Convenient. Okay. And yeah, penalties just usually under some tents, so not
Pretty
anything
much.
usually
We
too-
don't. Yeah, we don't have a building for this one.
Nope. Sunday, 7 a.m. Registration opens. 9 to 3:30 race time. 4 o'clock award ceremony, and GTFO by 5:30. Track facilities, parking is first come, first serve, except for behind garages. That is for if you're renting a garage, you get close spots closest to the garage. And every team entry, which means one race car, gets a 20 by 40 in the main paddock. Anything that doesn't fit in that box must be removed to overflow parking, which is probably all the way in the back. The pavilion, peninsula's as far away from the track as possible. So
There should be plenty of
If
room.
you-
For
There
that many-
usually is.
for that many
Usually
cars.
there is.
room.
It's
There
plenty of
is.
room.
And the RV spots have all been rented up. I was a little slow on that one, but if you're watching this, we've got a map. We'll have links to this in our show notes. But if you don't have a garage, there is easily enough space and in the dirt for you to set up, and it's all
Do
dirt.
they still have the one secret good bathroom?
Yes.
talk about
No,
this-
no,
Yes.
no.
No,
There's no
they do
secret
not.
good bathroom.
Closed.
Closed.
They do.
Okay.
It's at
That's a shame.
But
Walmart. Got it.
as always, if you have a spectator that is joining you, be respectful and park their cars away from everybody else, so you can have good parking spots for people that are racing closer to the track.
Yes. So when your mom shows up and parks her car right in the middle of someone else's paddock and walks away,
Right, or like parks in
I don't know
the
what that's about.
garage, right?
Yeah. Don't park by the garages unless you paid for it.
Yeah.
Oh
please.
yes, do not. That is Lemon's Rule 101.
Mhm.
Be respectful. Okay, that's what I got.
All right.
Timmy, Walk us through this track. You know this track well.
I have done more than a lap on this track, so it is a fun track. You will in the morning on Saturday, you will get started at the far end of the paddock. So you will be on the eastmost side of the paddock, closest to turn one, is where they will line everybody up. They will do dick check there and get you out onto track. That is only important because it will back up through the paddock. So if you want to get out on track fairly early, make sure you get your way over to that first corner and get out there. We'll pretend like we are coming down the main straight, coming into turn one, which is known as Sunrise.
I'll say, this is what they call the 13 counterclockwise, because Buttonwillow is a multi-configurable course.
So many of them.
Yes. Sorry.
So you'll be buzzing. No, good. So you'll be buzzing down the main straight. You can easily go 3 wide on the main straight without any sort of excitement. As you approach turn one, it is a 90-degree left-hand turn. It is a very late apex turn. You can carry a lot more speed through there than you think. The exit is pretty wide, but be careful as you're approaching the turn and you're under heavy braking. If you catch those rumbles on the right, they want to pull your car to the right out into the dust and dirt. So you've got to make sure you just barely get a tire's edge there on the right-hand side if you're going to be hard on the brake. And it's pretty much a hard stab of the brake, light lift, little trail brake around the corner, and off you go.
It's my favorite turn at this track because it is just so textbook.
Yep, totally agree. Stay wide right. You will have cars coming on track right there, right at the exit of turn one and Sunrise, which feeds you down into off ramp. Off ramp, you have a little kink to the left before you make the right hander going into off ramp. There is a curb that will, let's just say, it will determine where traffic goes. So yeah, you've got to go around that curb and not over it. If you've got a slow car that's just coming on, a lot of times they'll let you pass on the inside, but do not expect them to do that. I've seen way too many times people just cut straight across once they get past that kink to try to go up the hill.
Which is a compression. So you get a little bit of oomph because your suspension's is down, and then you immediately lose it once you crest it.
Yeah. And on off ramp, it is basically a 180 turn. And it's tight in the beginning. It's got a little bit of camber to it as you come around that corner, and there is room out wide right. So I've driven a bunch of different cars on this track, and I found that my line will really be determined by the gearing in the vehicle that I'm in. If you're a car that you can get away with not downshifting, if you take the wider, faster line, that's usually a little bit better. But if you have to downshift, take that inside line and go up the hill. I had a very interesting thing happen in the Omega on this. Luckily, it was this turn, which is the slowest one on the track. I had gone one lap around the track and made the turn, and whoop, why is the steering wheel no longer attached to the vehicle? So
no problems
not
there.
Fully locked on, so I did not make the right-hand turn. I continued going left. But there's a ton of room out there. It's one of the things with this track is you generally won't get yourself in trouble if you go off track, but you will get yourself very, very dirty. So,
and there's no hiding it.
No.
You've all been at those tracks where the car comes in and they're covered in mud or whatever, and at Buttonwillow, the car's brown. they're brown. They're going to open their brown visor on their brown helmet and cough out a little bit of brown and then go, why am I here? This is bull crap.
Did you go on
You
the
can
turf?
see in Bakersfield when someone goes off. At Buttonwillow. So,
Just keep this in mind. Bakersfield is it's a very ag town, right? So there's a lot of farming. The rumor is the only reason they built a racetrack here is because it's the only soil in the spot that you can't actually farm on because it's so bad. So it just turns into talcum powder and just goes
Yeah. Oh, I can like breathe it. Like I just breathed in and was just like
I can feel the grit.
Yeah,
I can
no,
feel it.
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
Buttonwillow has a taste, and you'll
It
have that
does.
taste. You're going to have that
Yeah.
taste in your mouth until about Tuesday. Which
No matter
it
how
sounds
much
like
water you have.
right. And
Yes.
well, and Chrissy and Chris kind of are a little bit. It sounds like we're bagging on it. I actually do love this track because it's club owned, so it's like for racers by racers kind of a deal. But there's just also realities to it. And one of those is it's always dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is
If you had
there
to-
are no external references. There's no like aim at the house in that neighborhood. No, it's just
For the one little hill. That's all you got.
two
one
hills.
hill.
2 hills.
Okay.
It's really fun, but if you had to describe Buttonwillow as a sandpaper grit, it's 2000 grit sandpaper.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
off ramp. So as you come out of off ramp, it goes over a little hump. So the car will unweight just a little bit as you start to go down the straight there, which they call I-5. You can make a lot of passes here. Slower cars will generally pick a side, right or left. You can get around them there. If you are the slower car, pick a side and let people get around you. And that will lead you down into turn 3, which is Cotton Corners. You want to set up on the far left side of Cotton Corners, and there are curbs down there on the left. You want to turn in right at the end of those curbs and clip the inside right hand of that apex. You want to try to catch it a little bit on the deep side, which will set you up for the next 2 turns, the left-hander and the right-hander, going back over to Grapevine. So you can generally get a pass done on down I-5 into 3. If you want to get aggressive and try to pass somebody on the inside of 3, just know that it is really tight coming out of that turn. So you're probably going to have to put a couple of wheels in the dirt to give them ample room. So that area of the track does get really dirty and dusty. So as you're coming out of 3, if you've got a clean run, just know that you might have some debris on the track coming through that.
And this is also one of the only other places where you have elevation changes. So you're climbing a hill, and halfway through this complex that Tim just gave us an excellent walkthrough by, where this second apex is. This is also where you're apexing. So as you crest this second part to exit Cotton Corners, you are now light on the suspension and you're trying to initiate a turn.
And it feels like there is no camber, or maybe even just a little bit of off camber as you're cresting. It's been a long time since I've done an actual track walk. I'm going to do that this race and just check a couple spots out. And there is as you're going over that's called the Grapevine. As you're going over that right-hander, you will see very clearly the flag stand right there. Make sure you heed their warning, because you are coming over a little blind spot coming down into Club Corner. And from that spot on, you are on the throttle. So full gas coming out of Grapevine. It's usually a lift or maybe a drag of the brake coming through Club Corner. Pretty typical turn, kind of a mid-entry apex. Don't take too much of the curb, because if you take more than that, there's usually a pothole right there that can wake you up. And that'll send you full speed into the bus stop. A lot of people that have done this track have done the dog leg, which is much quicker going into Riverside, but I actually really like the bus stop. I think it's a really fun It's an intense and technical turn.
I
So
don't
as you come,
before, because I think bus stop is at the end of that. I think you're talking about Grapevine and Club Corner. And if I'm
yeah, as you come, yeah,
if I'm
as you come out
wrong,
of
I
Club Corner.
apologize.
No,
Yes.
you're absolutely so. As
Okay.
yeah, so Club Corner is the one with the pothole. So
Yes.
that inside corner of Club Corner gets a lot of use, and it will pothole out over time. So you can use the curb, but don't use more than the curb. Um, and you'll be coming out of that corner, and you will be flat on the floor from Club Corner all the way until you get to the end of bus stop. And this is a tricky turn because of the way they kind of have the flow of the track and where the curbs are. You want to, as you're coming into bus stop, it's a left-hander. You want to take your typical line, let the car drift out to the right as you come around that first left-hander, and then you almost treat the end of it kind of like S's, right? You're trying to straighten out that little wiggly section as much as you can, stay to the right as much as you can, and you want to really make sure your eyes are looking past the corner and at the exit curb. Don't get yourself caught up in looking at that apex curb, or you will find yourself in the dirt on the other side. So eyes up, eyes up, eyes up. So Chrissy can sing her little song and remind everybody.
So I think I meant to dig up a video, but I'm stuck in commercial hell here. So this is
That's all right.
so this is actually right now they are going through the sunset, and we are going to fast forward through this. I had a better video. This is as Tim talked about,
Sunrise, turn
this
one.
is this right here is actually the on ramp that we're looking at, and then he's going to come all the way down, and you see how cars are picking a side, and he's coming into, and it's you also notice again nothing on the horizon. So here is Cotton Corners. He's made that right there. They're going into the left, and you'll see it crest. That's the flag station that he warned you about. And then you're dropping down into Grapevine, coming through this, and you'll see you can get on it a little ways, and then this is the Club Corner, which clears you, and you'll notice that person has not lifted. So this is what happens here when you go into bus stop and you don't respect it. They clipped it a little hard, dropped a wheel, and around they go.
Now
See all the dust?
dusty.
There's all
Dirty.
the dust. Yes.
Oh,
There it
the
is.
butt.
All
There's
the
the dirty
dirt.
butt.
So the dirt. So much dirt. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Treat that turn, the bus stop, the end of the bus stop with respect. But when you get it right, oh man, is it fun. It is fun. You'll hit.
It sends you hurling into the next turn.
Yes, absolutely. So through truck stop into Riverside. Riverside is a great carousel. And it's really throttle management. You can pass people, slower cars through Riverside. Pay attention to what your tires are telling you. It is pretty wide. As you're coming out of Riverside, out of 6 into 7, you can run out pretty wide if you need to get around somebody. You may find some marbles out there. So be careful of that. But more importantly, you're carrying a lot of speed, and now you've got a little left-hand kink to set up for as you're coming into Phil Hill. So you got to treat that with some respect. You got to get around a car on the left of 7. That little kink there, you're going to have to slow down to be able to make that turn because it's a little sharper than it appears, and you're going north of 100 miles at that point.
And then this is the kink here from someone who just goofed up and went a little off, and they're getting up over Phil Hill.
So then that gets you through Riverside. I would say Riverside is, if you are trying to set a fast lap, your tires will pay for it in Riverside. So if you don't really care about that and you care more about your tires, like coast it around in Riverside a little bit and be gentle to your car.
Because you're going to lose that front driver's side every time.
Oh man. Yeah. And it's a long day. It's a long day. So I would say, just, you've got to make a strategic choice on how bad you want to leave your tires for the next guy that's getting in the car. So Phil Hill is super fun turn. You want to, as you get set up for Phil Hill, you'll come out of 7. You'll end up on the right side of the track. You are going to aim for the curbs on the left. You will see a flag stand on the apex, on the inside right of the apex. Make sure you look at it as you're going up the hill, because it is a blind corner that everyone will get wrong at some point in time. And depending on the weekend, the spot where you go flying off of Phil Hill when you get it wrong could either have a lot of dirt or it could have a hole. So make sure you take a good look at it and factor that in before you send it over the top of that thing on your next lap. So as you come up the hill, aim for those curbs on the left. It is a very late turn in. You will notice there's a great tire track line showing you where to turn in. It's like the second to last or the third to last blue and white striped curb. That is kind of your turn in point. You want to turn the wheel, get your input in, let the car rotate. You'll get to the top of the hill, and at that time, it is crucial that you unwind all of the steering input you have as you go over the top of the hill, because the car will get hella light. Wait for the car to land and recompress, and then you can add your steering back in. If you have a giant car, like, I don't know, an El Camino, you don't have to worry about that so much.
Yeah.
Because the back of the car is on the uphill and the front of the car is on the downhill already. But if you've got like a Solstice, for example, it gets hella twitchy going over the top of that thing. So really, really important depending on what your car is.
And this is it matters because this is the other kind of major, almost artificial elevation change. So here on the video, you see this 944 because of the curbing. They did not get their steering straightened out in time, and off they went.
He also turned in
sad videos.
Yeah.
Way too early. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
So really good. If you get it right, you'll feel the steering wheel get straight, car will reload, more steering angle, down the hill, the car gets really compressed. You'll kind of clip that little curb on the left-hand side as you're coming out of there into the drag strip. So the drag strip is super, super long straight away into a much more than 90-degree turn. So it is a hard braking zone. Make sure before you get there, give your pedal just a little, oh, hey, Mr. Brake Pedal, how are you today?
Because you don't want to find out that they don't exist. And the map that we're showing on there shows drag strip where they've taken away Phil Hill. We'll be running to Phil Hill, and there's also a turn called Sweeper, but I do believe Lemons is running Star Mazda, which, as you mentioned, gives you a chance to build up more speed and is a tighter turn, which means you really want to make sure your brakes are there.
Yep. It is a long way. And I recommend from experience that you really look around as you're going down that drag strip and see who's around you, because you may have a car that dive bombs like crazy coming in at a really high rate of speed, and if they get it wrong and just slide on through that turn, you don't want to be in the path. So it's good to think about things as you're coming down there. Great spot to check your gauges, make sure the car is okay.
Do your taxes.
Yeah.
Take a selfie.
Contemplate.
Take
life.
A selfie. There you go. Yep.
And it is a hard right-hander. So as you come out, it's pretty typical hairpin turn, right? It's a little bit of a later apex, and as you come out, you'll be going so slow at this point that you'll be able to manage traffic and try to get around them on the outside on the left, or if you can kind of jump in on the inside on the right, and get yourself set up for the S's. The S's are great. You can really straighten those things out. If you've got a car that has truck like suspension, just go straight and run all of the curbs over. If you have a more fragile car, just give them the curbs a little kiss as you go by, so you'll have to go a little slower.
I remember a few years ago chasing that big yellow Le Mans, the Pontiac Le Mans, 4-door. And they would literally just point it at the entry into Sunset and mat the throttle, and you would watch the thunk, the thunk, and it would not alter direction at all. But if you tried to do the same thing in the Solstice or anything else, nope. That was clearly not the right answer.
You'd hit the first curb and you'd be like, "Wee!" I'm over here now.
Yes.
So you'll find that as you come out of the S's, if you are in a spot where there is a C-class car in front of you in the S's, really try to get your racecraft on and time it where when you exit the S's, right after they've gotten out of them, and you've got a full head of steam, so you can just zip right on by them as you come into Sunset. So it's a really good way if there's a car that you've been having a hard time trying to pass, kind of equal speed, they get stuck behind some lap traffic, you can back it up a little bit going into the S's, carry more speed coming out, and get a good run on them, which is it's fun to kind of practice that type of racecraft. I miss anything on those spots, guys?
I really like the S's. I think they might be my favorite because they have a really good flow to them. They're just the right distance apart to make them really like, if you get them right, they're really just feeling like, don't hit the curbs. Or if you're, like you said, if your car can handle it, then great. But if you get them right, it just feels like you're dancing.
Yeah, it's super fun. So as you come out of the S's, if you are going to go back into the hot pits, get the hell on the left side of the track and put your fist out of the window and let people know the exit is before Sunset on the left. I can't tell you how many times I've had people track all the way out to the right. I'm on the left side, and then they dive bomb across me into the pit. Don't do it. You go way too fast, and that's way too dangerous. So stay left if you're going to exit. If not, let your car track all the way out on the right. There are some curbs that give you a little bit extra room as you're exiting, but if you get it right, you're going to be foot down going as you come up into Sunset. And this is another great area where you will see a lot of passing happen coming into Sunset. And it is a mid to slightly late apex turn. It's hard on the brake in a straight line. I have not found this to be a very good trail braking turn. You kind of get your braking out of the way, turn your car and get it rotated.
Almost imperceivably off camber because you will see people go off.
Yep. And I think it's one of those, like if you've ever done Laguna Seca turn 6, if you make that left-hander, the closer you get to that apex, the more the car will compress and you'll get more grab. If you're just a little bit outside of that apex, the car just wants to wash out. So you've got to really get a couple of inches of tire on that paint on that apex, and the car will feel way better coming out of that turn. But you see cars spin there all the time. So treat it with respect. And then you're coming down the main straight towards Sunrise and start finish. The track's pretty smooth. There are a couple of bumpy spots. You'll find them pretty quick. Like I said, I think the worst one is that entrance into Sunrise. If you are really wide right like almost on the curbs, it gets pretty rough.
And
Okay.
straight away, it's where you get like all the class sorting. You know, if you've made your pass, just get on your line, stay there, expect some people to come around you, that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
And I've noticed this, but you've been running it a lot longer than I have, but they're also pretty good. Like they'll do pavement repairs. So the track always has a little bit different character almost every time I've driven it.
I agree.
during
Yeah,
so they don't have
they
a
do.
DMV track out there with some cones. Hey, we're just patching this pothole.
Mhm. Yeah, the track's usually in good condition. I'll give them that. You know, I think the biggest thing is it gets good for them. It gets a lot of use, and you will see some of the apexes and those runoff spots will get rutted up and potholed up a little bit. So just take a second to take a peek at all those things and make a mental note of those while you're out there, because you can really do some damage to your car if you hit a couple of those big ones.
Let's not do that.
No.
Good plan.
Okay, have fun, guys. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
good time.
have so much fun.
Hey,
All right, where can people find you when you're there?
Garage 6 and 7.
If you screw up, you're going to come talk to me or our guest, our previous guest, Chris Overzet, because we are judging that one. And because we haven't done anything else, I'm going to go this and say right there, click on that. You'll watch our episode, Chris Overzet.
Okay, great. Anything else? Have fun. Should be cooler. 95.
Drink water.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about how much dust you've eaten. It'll be so good. Whatever you're
Drink all
losing
of
in
the
body
water,
weight,
yes.
whatever you're losing in body weight from dehydration, you're eating in dust.
Yeah, it's not quite Burning Man level, but it's a close second.
Yeah, it's and it's good. It's good fibrous dust.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
All right.
So much grit.
Yeah,
so
so
much
much grit. All right, we're ready to move on.
Moving along.
Okay.
It's
It
time for everyone's favorite, by everyone's favorite. It's just.
Tip.
Okay, it's not me
All
today.
Well,
Oh,
Kyle
not you.
Smith.
All right, here I
Not
was
me.
thinking it was you.
Nope,
Damn it.
it's not. That's why I joined in.
Oh,
it's
okay.
everybody. It's everybody.
There
Kyle
we go.
Smith from Haggerty.
Also
wrote-
former guest.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll have to link that article in the show notes. Now you got to do homework.
Yeah, right. Now you gotta go find it.
Oh, no, Kyle's awesome.
He did a really cool article on torque wrench myths. So while many of you use the torque to feel method, 90 to 100 foot-pounds on my right hand and 70 foot-pounds on my left hand, the proper torque wrench is a critical tool to own and trust. Big thanks to Torque Test channel on YouTube for a great video where they set up a dynamometer and test some myths about these wrenches and a couple of pretty cool things that I didn't know as well. The first one, which is, how do you use this thing? And smooth operator is the way to go. Yes, it does make a difference on both digital and click type wrenches. You want a smooth application of the wrench until it hits its mark. And do you double click it? Do you check your work? Well, if you do 100 foot-pound torque, each additional click is worth around another foot-pound. So probably not a big deal in most applications, but it is worth mentioning that it does add a little bit more.
And I've done that for so long. It's almost like it's muscle memory. Tick, tick. I have to stop doing that.
Or set it to
That's what you're
99
doing.
and do it.
Yeah.
You can do that too.
Yep. All right, who's dropped a torque wrench and been like, oh no? I know I have. It was Corey's.
I've
but-
dropped a bunch of torque wrenches, but I don't think I've ever freaked out about it.
Well, the question is, do you have to recalibrate it after dropping? And the torque channel tests concluded that even after a few significant drops, there was no change in the performance of the wrench. But if you don't trust it, you can always have it calibrated for just a little peace of mind. Just know that you probably don't have to.
I think it's one of those things that's left over from the bygone days of crappy tool manufacturing, when they were very sensitive, and nowadays,
Yes, the $47 torque wrench from Harbor Freight is certainly not in the crappy tool days. So
no.
Well, the other one is, do we store it stacked or do we store it slacked? So most click type torque wrenches are pretty simple mechanically, with a spring and a mechanism that shifts with a certain level of force. And that spring is the key to calibration. So keeping it under tension has to be bad for the tool, right? Well, yes. The torque channel examined a handful of wrenches of various sizes and sources that have been left set and under tension for many, many years. And they found they had actually had guests. They said, send us torque wrenches that you've had laying around and we'll test them. So like one was like, I had this in my box for 3 years and it's set to 900 pounds, right? So they tested them, and while they found that they were slightly off, but not by a significant amount. So best practice is, yes, remove the tension. But if you forget to do it overnight, Saturday into Sunday, don't panic. It's probably not going to affect it that much.
There are at least 10 listeners right now yelling at their computer or radio going, "Told you, Mental! I friggin' told you!" And to those people, I say, I'm sorry, but I will still continue out of habit to zero out my torque wrench before I put it away.
Yes, it's good. It's
I
good.
wouldn't even consider it not doing it. It's just what we do.
Yeah. I think what this tells me is that you can set it to, like for lug wrenches, you could set it to 95 and leave it out all day. And then at the end of the day, when the race is over and the track goes cold, put it back to zero and put it away. It's fine.
yeah, I've left them torqued up for like a race weekend at most, but after that, like we're done.
Yeah.
Undo it.
Well, the last one here is something that I thought was really cool, and I knew they existed, but I always poo-pooed the thought of them, and that are digital torque adapters. So these are an adapter that you put onto a breaker bar. So it becomes your torque wrench. And are they good? Well, surprisingly, yeah. Like even a cheap $40 one worked really well, and they also feature a torque to yield feature when you need both torque spec, like 100 foot-pounds plus 125 degrees, so you can add your additional degree into the torque spec onto these little digital torque adapters. Bonus for these, it's also a great way to check to see if your wrench is calibrated. So for $40, it's probably worth throwing one in the toolbox.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Good find, Timmy.
Very good find.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
We can put that on the holiday show list.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
there we go. You got a
There we
torque
go.
adapter or torque wrench you like, let us know. Find that sucker on sale.
And links to both the Haggerty article and also the YouTube video of the review in the show notes.
Awesome. All right.
I just like that phrase.
I
We're doing inside baseball. I apologize. So we, our notes get updated as we record the show, and under next show promo, somebody just typed in "butt hangover."
Is it,
that's what we call it.
Is it
It
butt
absolutely-
hangover?
No, it's not.
Or is it
It's
No,
not.
we all know it's going to be the butt hangover. Coughing up dust.
Yep. Can't wait to hear how much dust you ate. It's gonna be
Dusty
awesome.
butt.
It's also going to be a great time because it's a whole lot of it's it's all the teams that we love out here on the West Coast, and a couple of new folks. Sierra College is sending Erica and Neha out. They're going to be welding. It's just going to be a great time.
I can't wait to hear about it.
Eagerly anticipating this weekend.
We'll be in garage 6 and 7 playing wood games. If you would like
Follow
to come
the douche jams.
Yeah, we've got the El Camino will be there. Matt's bringing
Viva El Camino!
The Failbird, and we have two new recruits in the party stable. We've got Jeff Gates in the Chevy Love, and our buddy Chet is bringing a full-on zebraed out Mazda Miata. So
he has embraced the sorry for party styling cues. It's a good looking Miata.
It is infectious. It really is. It's infectious. So,
all right, cool.
Come say hello. Have a game. Have a drink.
Yeah. Don't be surprised you find yourself on Amazon shopping for zebra rainbow camouflage.
Right. It's gonna happen. All right.
For everyone down in the South, stay safe and dry. We know there's a hurricane coming. We hope everyone's going to be okay. One more time around the horn. All right, Chris, safe travels back home. And I'm going to hit the button.
See ya.
Send it.
Thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you will join us in the world of driving, racing, building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. And go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text pictures of your junk to me at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, and even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again. Until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless, like us, there is no shiny side, then just keep those wheels down.